Introducing Angelica Holmes, the executive producer and camp founder. Angelica Holmes is a native of Arkansas, where she graduated from Little Rock Central High School and Lyon College. She moved to San Antonio to join Teach for America, where she taught middle and high school English for 3 years before switching gears to co-found Black Outside Incorporated. She helped resurrect BOI Summer Camp for Black girls, Camp Founder Girls, where she is the camp director as well as the executive director of Black Outside.
Hi, everybody. Thank y'all so much for watching. Special shout out to all my family and friends that are watching live. I just want to tell a little story about belonging. So we can go ahead and get started. I've been thinking a lot lately about the term outdoorsy. Am I allowed to consider myself outdoorsy? Do I even belong in the outdoors? I don't know everything as a budding adventurer, but I do know that I feel most at peace when I'm soaking in the sun and my most powerful when I'm on the water. Growing up, my outdoor experiences were pretty limited. This picture is my first and only fishing trip with my dad. I remember bragging to my grandma about the big bass that I caught, by far the highlight of our outing. But aside from this and bike riding through our neighborhood, my sister and I didn't have much exposure to the outdoors as kids. I did have the opportunity to go to summer camp a couple times as a child and a few times in high school with my best friend Pilar. As seniors, we decided to try something new and joined a youth group that hosted summer and winter retreats every year. I don't remember everything we did. I know we went on hikes and did a ropes course challenge, but the memory that sticks out the most to me is how I so desperately wanted to fit in, but how othered I felt because of the lack of diversity and inclusion. I kind of wonder how much more outdoorsy I would be if I truly felt like I belonged in those outdoor spaces growing up. If you looked up the term outdoorsy in the dictionary, you would likely see a picture of my mom as the antonym. My mom was many wonderful things: a passionate leader, a caring mother, an anointed minister, just like her dad. But an outdoorsman, she was not. There were many spaces she felt comfortable occupying, but nature was just not on that list. I can now recognize that as the daughter of a sharecropper, she wasn't raised to see the outdoors as a place of leisure or joy. Her first outdoor experience as a child was chopping cotton in the Arkansas heat. And saying she hated it would be an understatement. She told us she would pray to pass out so she wouldn't have to be in the hot sun. But I met someone last year whose experiences in nature were extremely different from my mom's, despite also growing up in the South around the same time. Miss Gaynell Gaynor was raised on the east side of San Antonio. She joined Camp Founder Girls, which had been thriving for over 30 years by then in the 1950s. At the time, Ms. Gaynor probably didn't know that she was part of history. But as the very first summer camp for Black girls in the whole country, Camp Founder Girls was a rare adventure for girls who looked like her. When they were in the city, the Camp Founder Girls met regularly, hosting cooking, sewing, and art classes, all skills they needed to be modern, mid-century girls. They supported each other in pageants and hosted homecomings. But when we talked to Miss Gaynor, the memories that stuck out to her the most were those summers in Bernie at camp, swimming in the creek and going on nature walks, finding peace and solace in the outdoors. And this is Miss Maddie Landry, who I consider to be a trailblazer through and through. When she had this radical idea of starting a camp for the Black girls at her church, she tried to create a chapter of a national camping organization, but was denied. So she decided to found her own, Camp Founder Girls. And when she, as a Black woman, wasn't legally allowed to buy the land for her camp, she had her husband, whose skin tone allowed him to pass as white, sign the deed for her. She modeled to our campers what it looked like to forge her own path and make space for herself, despite all opposition. In her more than 40 years as a camp director, Ms. Landry hosted hundreds of campers, girls from all different walks of life, but they all had one thing in common. They were proud to be Founder Girls, and camp was a place they knew they belonged. Camp Founder Girls unfortunately fizzled out a while after Miss Landry's death in the 60s, but last year, we had the honor of resurrecting it and introducing a new generation of Founder Girls. But we asked ourselves a hard question: how do we show our girls that they belong? And what does it mean as Black girls and Black women to belong in an outdoor space. To be honest, I'm still figuring out what that means for myself. But as our kids met and embraced our camp auntie, Miss Gaynor, our OG founder girl at camp last year, I could call it a full circle moment, but I really saw it as a little more linear. I saw my girls having the opportunity to pick up where Miss Gaynor, Miss Landry, and the founder girls before them left off. I doubt the first generation of founder girls called themselves outdoorsy, but they had a fondness of nature and were doing things that girls like them didn't get to do. Because Miss Landry gave women like Miss Gaynor the opportunity to explore and introduce them to new things, they blazed a trail for a new generation of nature lovers. And we are able to do activities the original founder girls would have dreamed of, like kayaking and high ropes challenges. But just like the first group, my campers love hiking, swimming, and exploring nature. We're continuing on the trails that have been blazed for us by our foremothers. And even though some of the trailblazers before us have passed on, my mother and Miss Landry included, I believe it's our duty to push past what even they thought was possible. And that starts with us creating a space outside where our girls are uplifted and their identities are affirmed. And I get the fun job of reimagining what an inclusive outdoor space feels like for our girls, something I never saw, where they get to try new things outside while also seeing themselves reflected in their programming, their activities, and their leaders. They can explore the wild freely, knowing they are loved and safe. It's my job to remind my campers and remind myself that we deserve to take up space in the outdoors. We belong there. This summer, we had a camper named Charlie. You can see her in that picture. It's a fairly common name, but it's spelled Charlye. I'd only seen it spelled like that one time in my life with my mom. I have this crazy fantasy that 50 years from now, another little Black girl named Charlie will grow up knowing undoubtedly that she belongs wherever her feet take her, in the outdoors or otherwise. And she has the trailblazing women who came before her to thank her for that. We all do. Thank y'all.
What a story. First of all, I commend you, girl, for being outside, because I am not necessarily an outside person. I think, wow, that's an amazing story. So do you feel like you're reclaiming outside with your Black girl magic? You said your mom wasn't an outside person. Are you reclaiming outside?
Yes, of course. We got to reclaim the space and we got to take up whatever we want to do. I think a lot of times people feel pressure to, either be outdoorsy or they're not, right? But you can enjoy parts of nature without being Bear Grylls in the middle of the woods for 3 weeks at a time. Everybody can figure out what they're into in nature, and that's kind of what we want to encourage with our girls.
Okay, so how can I come to camp? I know I'm supposed to have way more better questions.
I hate to break it to you, but you might be a little outside of the age bracket. But camp will hopefully reconvene in full force in 2021, and we will have lots of information. Y'all can follow us on social media at Camp Founder Girls or at @BlackOutside_Inc. And yeah, you can check out our websites as well.
That's fantastic. Okay, I got a question for our audience. Y'all ever been to camp? Let us know in the YouTube comments what camp you've been to. Shout them out in the comments. Thank you so much, Angelica. We appreciate you.